Today on Stages of Art, I learned about stewardship and artistic interventions with a local artist who's exploring the human's relationship with the earth. We've also got the creator of Tourniquet magazine, a new publication highlighting our local artist scene. Plus, I learned to fly. And don't miss our featured musician, Michelle Thibodeau. Stay tuned. My first guest today is a multidisciplinary artist and independent curator. She holds a master's in studio arts from Concordia University and pursues their artistic interventions through performance, drawing, and audio video. I'd like to welcome Maryse Arseneault.
Hi.
Hi,
CJ.
welcome. So I want to first ask, what does artistic interventions mean? It seems like an overarching mantra of your work.
Yeah, it's very much more about the intervention and the action than the end product.
Okay.
So sometimes there'll be like remnants that stay after the action that become a piece of art or documentation of the intervention, but often you need to kind of witness it as a passerby. It's often haphazardly, like I'll just like show up in an event and do something.
So how is it an intervention? Are you trying to, I guess, like disrupt society in a political way, or?
I'm trying to make people think like, oh, this is unusual, and then that makes them notice other things that are unusual. So yes, like disrupting like what we expect or disrupting what we believe, and not to like have a political agenda, but to like make people question their own political like views.
Or, to spark critical thinking.
Yeah, to spark critical thinking, or like we're not meant to always think the same, we're meant to be challenged. And if something is absurd, usually that's what it does to our brain, like so.
So would you call what you do, or a lot of what you do, performance art?
Most of it is, performative. It started with even like drawing or anything that was maybe 2D. I found a performative aspect to it that really like lightens me up or really inspires me.
And do you ever combine the two, like visual art in a public setting?
I mean, there's just like often many elements to what I'm doing. So there's always like a drawing element that feeds what I'm doing.
Okay.
And then like poetic actions or characters that I develop or song, like there's just different things that happen.
Cool. So it's like never really the same process, just a lot of different elements floating and bobbing about.
Well, they're all interconnected, so I think the process is always kind of like multi-layered for sure.
Well, it makes it interesting for sure. Mm-hmm. You never know where it's going to go. So you talk a lot about notions of stewardship and alienation.
Yeah, so stewardship is like kind of our responsibility as humans to take care of our environment. Mm-hmm. But then alienation is also when we've kind of got separated from our environment, mm-hmm. as like almost becoming stewards means like we kind of become we become responsible of our environment, or we can have control over our environment. And so it kind of separates us from the environment at that point when we got like our hands to control and manipulate the material world.
Okay.
It separated us from it in a way that created this gap where we are no longer part of it. We are like taking care of it, or, you know, living with it. But like the human mind has like this gap where we've separated ourselves from the earth and nature, and that created this alienation that I explore in many facets of my work.
Do you think that has to do with like us being sort of maybe narcissistic, or as humans we're in charge of the earth? Is that the kind of separation you feel?
Yeah, that separation happened, and it's hard to say when it happened. Is it with language? Is it with like art? Is it with military? Like we don't know when it happened. Like, is it like our fear of dying that makes us like want to be in control and become narcissistic and individualist? I'm just interested in all those aspects.
Maybe the point is to not answer the question, but just to explore it.
Exactly, and learn about it.
That's what you talk about, how it's like you kind of have to walk by and just see whatever you're doing. I know that you often take video documentation or photo documentation. Do you think that's crucial to the success of a creation, or is that more just for your own, process of seeing what you've done?
I mean, it's definitely for my own process of documenting it and like not feeling like I'm doing nothing. But what I find the most crucial to the piece is often when it's not documented and it's just like there's probably just one person who saw it, and like even just me living it is like kind of what I take back from it.
And do you think, so for you, if only one person sees it, it's still worth it?
Yeah.
But does that depend on how much work and time and effort you put into it?
There's different artworks that like maybe I'll spend time and give it a value, like, and sell it. But it's in the long run, for me, it became more about how I live, and it's like not the numbers for me. It's like somebody else will be doing other pieces that are helping me like thrive also. It's like more of like a collective effort, I find, to...
Art is a lifestyle.
Wait.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Wait.
So as an artist, what are some obstacles that you face?
Well, the documentation of it, and like having professional documentation of the work, and kind of like putting myself on a professional, like with the appearance and the portfolio and the slick, like I'm very DIY, so I find it hard to reach that level of professionalization. But then it's also not what I'm looking for in my work, so it's just trying to find that middle ground where I'm satisfied and authentic with the work, but that it can also like be promoted or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, where it can be seen. So where can people find your work if they're interested in what you're doing?
Well, my website is running right now, and that's my name, Maryse Arseneault, with EAULT.com.
MaryseArseneault.com.
Yeah. And I mean, I have a show coming up in November at the Centre des Arts de Culture de Dieppe.
Okay.
So in Dieppe at that cultural center, my work will be there in November. I forget the date exactly.
And is that going to be a collection, like a specific collection you've been working on, or just over time?
It's over time, but it's very like in the same subjects that we just talked about alienation and the fact that we use our hands to create objects, and then those objects kind of like become part of our ecosystem, and just kind of like how man-made life becomes. Yeah, we become kind of obsessed with it. And
very cool, very cool. So you also teach at UDM?
Yes.
And how long have you been doing that?
For 3 years, I've been teaching classes there, yep.
Wow, and how has that been rewarding, feeling like you're giving back?
Very rewarding, very humbling. I just keep learning more. It's like very much a place of learning for me as well. And just seeing students grow, like within a semester even, but I get to see them year after year, and it's just so rewarding to see them like when they spark on something. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So if there was one thing that you could tell our community about the arts and maybe how to appreciate them more, or about your philosophy, what would you tell them?
Well, that it's not an elitist thing, even though we do go to university or art school, or you want to do an art class. It's like we all have that potential of looking at the world a different way, and maybe reporting to our friends about it poetically. Like it's just the way we see things is what artists do, is like they manifest the way we see things, but every human sees things in a creative way. So they I'm very like, I try to find ways to keep it not too elite.
Break down that wall. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Maryse is going to stick around and show me a new skill, and also a collaborator of yours on a project that you've been working on is going to be here in a couple moments as well.
All right.
Stick around.
I need the village to raise my soul. I need the river to go downstream. I need
You might know this guest from his extravagant variety shows, various music projects, or simply as the guy behind the bar at Zero's Arcade Bar. But most recently, he's added magazine creator to his list of occupations. I'm pleased to welcome the man behind Tourniquet magazine, John Jerome.
Oh, thank you very much.
This is your baby.
Yeah.
It is. The latest edition is out now.
Mm-hmm.
Love the color. So what made you want to start a magazine, John?
I don't know. It's just this kind of pop art thing where it's just like, it's fun to just kind of try everything, you know? Yeah.
You're just like, why not? Let's just go for it.
I always, a lot of my kind of work is based on a thing I realized a little while ago, that one of my kind of things is I like to just kind of set the stage. And if I'm thinking about writing a song, I'm not a great drummer, I'm not a great any kind of thing. So by creating a space where I can bring in all kinds of really talented people, it'll just kind of make my projects kind of that much more unified and you know, more interesting for sure, you know?
Yeah, so, you know, you talk about bringing people together and creating a platform, which is kind of what I'm trying to do with this show.
No, exactly.
So, yeah, and I was reading in an interview that you did about how, you know, you want to try and cross-pollinate, you know, the different communities within the arts and culture.
Yeah.
So is that kind of...
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's so many little different pockets of things happening that it's like, I think there's some little gaps that could be filled and bridges that could be made, you know, as you get to the point where it's like, oh, I kind of know what's happening in the music world in Moncton, for example, and then you go to maybe a bar you didn't see because a band that you know is playing, and then you realize that there's a whole other community existing there that you kind of knew nothing about. It's like this thing of just growing and learning more about what is really happening in the community.
So what about the physical object, tactile object of a magazine was better than maybe a blog or something?
I don't know. I feel like the internet is just kind of, it's not, you know, it's not real, and it's such a huge kind of space where there's so many things that I kind of wanted to do. So I really appreciate tactile things, vinyls and CDs and stuff. It's just, you kind of have it, and you can, little collections of things, and it's more interesting. You have it on the coffee table, it's more of a topic of conversation than just kind of something that you would blast by on your phone or whatever.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, I'll turn to things like magazines when you want to sort of just shut off, get away from your phone. I know I need that just to like stop the obsession.
No, for
so
sure.
having something to sit and read and occupy your mind that's not digital is really good. What have you learned so far? This is your second edition. It's a quarterly magazine, one every 4 months or so.
Yeah.
So now that the second one is out, is there something you've done differently, something you're looking to change?
Just kind of reaching out to find more contributors and understanding that there's so many more things going on that I may be aware of and have access to. So it's just trying to establish kind of connections in that realm and just building more of a team where, you know, it's nothing, they're all things that I've never done. I've never done layout before. I've never done interviews before, per se. So it's just like I think I'm most engaged in artistic practices when I'm learning something new. You know, I'm have a bit of a one-track mind and kind of not grow bored easily, but I find that I'm more engaged in things where it's brand new and I'm meeting new people and learning about their fields, and this is kind of just makes it a really more interesting way, because each time I go about it I can think about how I would want to approach an interview and what I would like to take from and learn from those kind of interactions.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. It keeps it fresh, keeps the ball rolling. Are there any dream interviews? Any New Brunswick celebrities that you'd love to lock down?
Not particularly. I'm trying to keep it more focused on just what is happening in that block of time in those 3 months when it's happening, you know. So I try not to get too far ahead of myself because I really want to keep it in that thing. It's with it being quarterly, I can't really say, oh, next Friday at, you know, at Zero's there's this happening or those sorts of things. So it's just more about kind of taking a snapshot of the community within that time is is kind of the goal right now.
And that's the cool thing about a magazine is that it will live beyond you.
Of course.
And so somebody might find an old box of them someday and say, "Oh, wow,
Yeah.
this is wrestling in Moncton,
Oh, no,
in
for
2023." And then you've got some stuff here from like the past, some throwbacks, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Black and white pictures. What's happening here? What's this? Let's just do a quick.
Well, I can't say this is Marky and the Mopeds. This is like Marky from the Laundromat. They had this amazing band back in the 90s that kind of just really was about, they were kind of the...
They're all in suits. It looks like the 1960s. Is that the Beatles?
No, exactly. Yeah, they had a great way of doing it.
Oh, that's awesome. So obviously, making this, there has to be money and funding and all of those efforts involved. So what was it like being able to realize it? Did you have to go the sponsor route or knock on
Well, I've
doors?
been kind of started it with just selling ads, from local businesses and stuff like that. And that was kind of the first approach, apply for some funding. And yeah, just going to kind of keep applying for funding and, those sorts of things, selling ads and just try to pick up momentum in that thing. It's always it's a bit of an afterthought. I kind of like get an idea in my brain and don't really think about the logistics or the realities of what...
I will make it happen come heck or high water.
Yeah, which is like a fault and a quality in a way where it's just like I've done a lot of things that maybe I wouldn't have done if I would have thought of all of the kind of...
You know what? I believe in just the delusion of it all,
No,
right?
of course.
Just make it happen.
No.
You get a dream. So where can folks find the magazine? I know there's a number of places.
Yeah,
they can buy it.
no, the Laundromat, Zeros, Copain, the Librairie Acadienne, Clémentine Cafe, so many. There's about 15 places, mostly kind of like cool local establishments that I kind of have a bit of a relationship with the owners where I can kind of just...
Sell these for me.
Yeah, no.
So if you see this in a business that you walk into, know that it's a cool John Jerome verified place.
Yes.
You're in a cool spot. And if anyone is interested in contributing or sharing a story, they can...
Yeah, we have an email and website. It's info@tourniquet.media.
info@tourniquet.media. And the website is tourniquet.media.
Tourniquet.media. Yeah.
.media.
Yeah.
Not a .com. Well, thank you so much for being here to talk about Tourniquet.
Yeah, thank you.
We look forward to the next issue, which will be out when?
November is the kind of aim here. Yeah, right aligned with FIGFA.
Nice, amazing. John Jerome, everybody, get your magazine.
Just to do nothing inside it requires a good deal of switch throwing and a certain amount of attention. So I expect to be keeping the command module ready for Neil and Buzz's return the next day, and I'll be quite busy doing that.
Colonel Alderman, would you be satisfied that you just achieved a successful landing and takeoff, but for some reason could not step out on the lunar surface and collect the first samples of the moon and rock?
Well, I think it's been fairly clearly stated that we're going to feel that we've accomplished a successful mission, which we
I'm back with Maryse, and she is going to teach me how to fly. Okay, so how does this work? What's the deal?
Well, there's 5 elements that you need to kind of like understand so that you can learn how to fly.
5 elements.
Yeah, and so I'm going to show you them.
Take over, okay.
It's kind of like yoga.
Okay.
So don't hurt yourself, but go as far as you can.
If you're trying at home, yeah, make sure you've got enough space.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
And so the first thing you need to know is your ground. So it's kind of like sitting down or snowboarding. You don't want to fly away, so you want to know what your ground is going to be.
Okay.
And then you want to, the other element is fire. Oh no, air, sorry. It's air. It's because it's your breath. And it's similar to fire because it's getting to know yourself and like trusting your breath, right?
I trust.
Yeah. And then you can go further and it's wood. Now you can like unbend your knees because you're like a tree and you're feeling the breath circle from the tip of your fingers to your toes, kind of like sap.
Sap.
Yeah.
I am Mother Willow.
And then the next element is water. And this is like everything, everywhere, all at once. You're feeling everything. Your hands are like whiskers. Water is everywhere. Water. Now you're pretty much ready to fly. So the next thing is fire. So fire is like this, and this is like your willpower. So if you believe something, you're ready to perceive it. It's like
I feel like a fire emoji.
you're ready. And then you gotta aim. So the metal is the precision. Precision is the metal element. And so you kind of like aim with your nose and bring your flaps to the back and you fly.
Am I doing it?
Yeah. You're doing it. And then you come back to your ground. It's important to always come back to your ground.
Okay, good. This is
And
turbulent.
then
It was
you
turbulent.
kind of repeat it. You like fire or air and fire are very similar. Air is your breath. Wood is your connection to the sky and the earth. Water is your connection to everything all at once. Fire is like your willpower. And then metal is precision. You're going. You're going.
I'm going.
And then come back.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I just took a trip around the world.
Right?
I can play Santa Claus this year.
I know. I feel like for the vibrations.
Yeah, look at it. Come back down to earth. Thank you for teaching me how to fly.
Yeah.
Skilled it. And now I present our musical feature, Michelle Thibodeau, born and raised in New Brunswick and now calling Ontario home. Please enjoy the music video for her song, Hitchhiker.
Hey, hitchhiker, do you need a way around? 'Cause I could use the company, and I'm heading out of town. We could talk till we're not strangers, and I'll take the scenic route, a road trip to remember. Forget about your doubts. Hey, hitchhiker, stop your hiking, hitch a ride with me. Whoa, hey, hitchhiker, thumbs up. You can hitch a ride for free. You can hitch a ride with me. Hey, hitchhiker, travel the world with me. If you don't have any plans, there's some sights I wanna see. And I know it's rather forward, quite forward since we just met. But the more the reason not to part our ways just yet. Hey, hitchhiker, stop your hiking, hitch a ride with me. Whoa, hey, hitchhiker, thumbs up. You can hitch a ride for free. You can hitch a ride with me. Hey, hitchhiker, pass up my offer if you'd like. But I'll warn you in advance if you say no. Go take a hike. Hey, hitchhiker, stop your hiking, hitch a ride with me. Whoa, hey, hitchhiker, thumbs up. You can hitch
I'd like to thank all of my guests today, Maryse Arseneault, John Jerome, and our musical feature, Michelle Thibodeau. Remember, the arts are the universal language. See you next time.